Hello everyone, this is Sarah McGuire and I'm here to show you how to review somebody else's work. Now I encourage you to stop by our video that talks about community expectations as far as what these reviews will be like. This video here is mainly intended to be nuts and bolts, how you do it, all that sort of stuff. So really quickly, I want you to remember that if you want to post in a certain category, that is the category in which you should review. So I just did a video tutorial and posted something of mine in general fiction. So I am going to go ahead and do a review of my post there. So you'll go into whichever category you want. This is me. And then a couple things that we need from you, of course, you're going to take the time to read it. Really encourage you to pay attention to what is in the introduction. You're going to go ahead and read the portion that they've posted. And then your critique is going to have two parts. The first part will be this sort of gut level check of what do I think about these different aspects of it? So I would encourage you not to stress too much about these. What the goal is that if you're selecting number 5, then it reminds you, or it reads like a book that you would be pulling off a bookshelf. It's compelling. It's right where it needs to be. It feels like it is absolutely on point as far as the craftsmanship of what you're reading. One of the other things that is going to also be super helpful is pay attention to the high points and the low points. So, or relative strengths and weaknesses. I know for me, when I'm looking at my scores, I'm looking to see, if over time I have been consistently getting lower scores in characters and higher scores in plot, then I know that I'm pretty good in plot, but I really need to pay attention to my characters. So as you're giving feedback in this area, if you're not quite sure what to do, be thinking 5 is going to be best as I've ever read it, and then pay attention to of all of these characteristics or of all of these aspects of the story, this part was the weakest or this part was the strongest. Those will be ways to help. So we're going to say the voice was compelling. Wasn't so sure about the character, so maybe I could give it a 2 or a 3. Plot seems good. Now I don't believe there was any dialogue in what I posted. Maybe, nope. So if there isn't dialogue in what has been posted, you can concentrate on whether you think the story has clearly communicated how the character is thinking or interacting. So we're still talking about the way the character communicates either with himself or with the environment. So you can still lean into that. Descriptions are vivid and detailed. The point of all of this is that you want it to feel like you're really there. So you'll give this feedback here. And then when you're finished with that, you're going to reply. And this is where we ask you to describe something that you thought was good and something that you felt needed some work. So, and we ask that you be thoughtful about this. So I'd say the two sort of biggest things are we need you to be specific, and we'll go into this more deeply in the sort of expectations, the community expectations, but try to be specific about what was good or what wasn't, and try to avoid being prescriptive. So it's one thing to say if something wasn't working. It's one thing to say if you were confused. It's another thing to say you should do this, 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 and this to fix it, because it's entirely possible that the author who is more familiar with the story might be able to fix it in a way that works better within that story. So you don't give the author as much time to work with their story if you tell them exactly what you think they should do. If you really think you have an idea of what would fix it, hedge your bets a little bit and be like, consider doing this, this, and this. So let's review really quickly. You're going to take into account what is actually going on in the story. You are going to read the submission, and then you will go ahead and list what you think are the high and low points here. And then you will give a written critique of what worked and what didn't. And I really expect that y'all's will be longer than this, but I'm not going to have you wait for me to type it out. So thank you so much. This is the nuts and bolts of how you give a critique. And I ask that you would please swing over to Community Expectations to kind of get more into what we're hoping for in our critiques as far as attitude and tone. Thanks so much and happy writing.